Oh gut, Theme Park Trouble haben wir und dann als nächstes One Born over every minute. Ah, Hayroof Residence. Alright. Excuse us, you put in a request for the special support section. Hello there, SSS. I can tell you how glad I am that you're here to help with this again. Yes, thank you very much for coming. Could I ask what happened since yesterday, Chief Toller? Is that there is a new development in the case? Yes, that's correct. I feel the situation is more dire than we originally thought. I'd like to discuss it in depth with you. Alright away. With you alright away. Would that be alright? Alright. Well, that's fine. Please fill us in on the details. You mentioned that the situation has changed since today? That it has. The evening I went to the Ash Tree Inn in another attempt to persuade Direct. I told him that Minif Carrier was far too suspicious and that he had to break ties with him. I didn't be around the bush then, huh? Not for a second, but in the end, Derek still refused to listen. That's what to say. Or I did learn something new. And so I heard here to discuss the matter with Mr. Hayworth. Something new? Has Minif taken some form of action? What he told me caught me off guard, if I may be frank. His grip on the village is far tighter than we had given it credit for. Do you mind elaborating? When we learned yesterday, the villagers already trusted him. Has it gone further than that? You see, Minif has not only secured the private property on Old American Road, but also the deeds to numerous plots and fields in the village itself. You what? As shocking as that is, one question comes to mind. How was he able to pull off something that big? What question? From what we know, Minif pitched a plan to increase American lotus production, as he puts it. By slowly accumulating deeds to the village's farmlands, he could expand the lotus fields and streamline their harvest. Moreover, management of the plots themselves would be contracted to the Quincy Company to reduce the required labor. Last line up with what we heard yesterday. At first blush, it sounds like a pretty good deal for the villagers. Yeah, too good to be true. As long as those deeds are in Minif's hands, he can abuse the land in any way he wants. There'll be no coming back from that. Indeed, that man cannot be trusted by any means. Had he solely focused on the private property of ours, even the worst case scenarios wouldn't be too terrible. But now that he's using plots of land within the village, the results could be catastrophic. You guys might be shit out of luck when it comes to breaking the contract then. That's where you come in. If we can expose him, then perhaps the contract can be voided. I know there's nothing criminal happening on the surface here, but even still, can I ask you to look into this? But yes, that has never actually been all the beholden to CPD protocol. Our job is to support assassins when they request it. You have given us enough reason to find Minif suspicious, so we're glad to hear. Oh, thank you, Detective Bunnings. Our village's guardian angels. Well, I should begin the investigation. I'm at a bit of a loss on that myself. Me too, it's not as if we have any smoking guns to look into. True. In this case, why not ask Ian for assistance? Do you mean Mr. Grimbot? Yes, granted we are only working off our suspicion at the moment. But if you explain the situation to Ian, he may be able to find a trace of something illicit in Minif's action. That sounds like a good idea. Even short of evidence against Minif would be a good starting point for the investigation. I should warn you though, Ian's been incredibly busy ever since the mayor advocated for our independence. There's no guarantee we have the time to see you. Only one way to find out, off to Cromwood Law Office. Maybe we'll catch him, maybe we won't. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, let's go pay him a visit. I'll leave you to it then. Ask my business associates if they have heard any rumors about Minif or the Quincy Company. I would appreciate that. Thank you everyone, you're the only ones I can count on. So powerless in all of this, it's just pathetic of me. Don't worry, Chief Torda, we ran it from here. Just sit tight and relax. And maybe pray to the goddess for good luck when you're at it. Well, I'll be waiting for you. Good. Dann Crossbell Law Office. Ah, ist da. Sehr schön. Oh? Mr. Grimwood! You're afraid you might have been out of your office. I guess I was just in the middle of taking a much-needed break. But it would seem you're desperate in need of my counsel. Is it really that obvious? I've seen the looks on your faces coming from my door countless times by now. Please take a seat. I might be busy, but I'm happy to lend you an ear. Oh, apologies, and thank you. Lord has explained what he learned about Minev and his actions throughout the past 24 hours. They also mentioned that Minev had been collecting deeds to plots of land in a Morika village. I see, it is quite a predicament the village has found itself in. The case such as this would totally be a top priority for me. I just know I've been busy this past week drafting up a preliminary constitution for the mayor. I apologize, but I won't have the time to handle this case personally. That's unfortunate, but we understand. We suspected that would be the case. Still, even just a consultation would be helpful. Very well. I'll give you any advice I can while you're here. I appreciate Mr. Grimwood. So, do you have any insight on this? At this point, there's no evidence of Minev engaging any unlawful activity, at least as far as we can tell. Is there something we're missing? I do have one idea. Oh, damn, already? Possibly. An embarrassing contact of mine once provided me with some reference material for a very similar case. Though I can't say the circumstances are on an exact match. Any that could help us with the investigation is a good one. If you think this other case is worth mentioning, we'd be happy to hear about it. Oh wait, ist es der Fall, den ich denke, der es ist? Well, I can hardly refuse you. From what I can recall. Oh ja, ich glaube, das ist genau das, was ich gerade im Kopf habe. Several years ago, a man visited the estate of an baron. He introduced himself as Rittner, an enterprise businessman working for a famous brewing company. Rittner presented the baron with an opportunity to become rich beyond his wildest dreams, and quickly at that. He proposed that the baron's barley fields, which had been passed down in the family for generations, be used to establish a brewery. The facilities would be constructed on the barony, and his family would be responsible for managing them. That was the idea, anyway. Hold on a second. What are you telling us is awfully reminiscent of what's going on in America. The baron accepted the deal and signed Rittner's contract. Then, under the pretense of constructing the brewery, the fields and a portion of the baron's land were temporarily transferred to Rittner. More, the baron converted his assets into capital for the sake of getting the business off the ground. Rittner soon disappeared, with both of the deeds and the capital, never to be seen again. The hell? The baron and his family panicked after suddenly losing contact with Rittner. At the time, they had no idea of the gravity of what was about to unfold. To their shock and surprise, they learned Rittner had sold the deeds to a third party. The land was to be repurposed into a villa resort, where they had stands as part of a suburb instead. In the end, the baron's family raked up a substantial debt. Before long, they had lost the entire territory. With that, the family was stripped of their rank and they vanished without a trace. Damn, that's one hell of a story. The man conned them into giving up their property and sold it right under their noses. Who would even do such a thing? Es gibt zwei Fälle, die wir schon kennen aus Trails in the Sky, die uns weirdly bekannt vorkommen. The investigation really reminded me of the case. One person lies to earn another trust before running off with a large fortune. It's a common strategy for committing fraud. Fraud? Is the case is the same, the Minev may not be a Quincy company employee at all. He was simply being a conman trying to swindle America for all they're worth. Precisely. I can't say for certain that's the case here, but I'm concerned it might be. I agree. There are too many parallels between the story and our case. It'd be best if we shifted our focus on investigating this as a potential act of fraud. That changes the kind of leads we should be looking into. Exactly, as far as Minev goes, there are two major areas that stand out to me as suspicious. First, the brain office. We need to find out whether or not he's actually done anything to establish this American honey company. Could probably figure that out by following the mirror trail. We'd have to apply for a bank loan to open a business in Crossbell. If it's all a sham, then we'll find evidence we need at the IBC. Another point of concern is whether Minif actually is an employee of the Quincy Company. The Quincy's company headquarters aren't in Crossbell though, so that will be a little tougher to ferret out. I may be able to help with that. You should try stopping by my grandfather's home. To make the estate? Why? There should be a brochure about the Quincy Company there. It outlines how the company operates. You may be able to find some useful information. Or something like that doing the Graham's pet, mademoiselle. Because I happen to enjoy making sweets, alright? I took an interest in the Quincy Company, so I ordered one of their brochures. Last I recall, it was on a shelf in my old bedroom. Then again, I doubt this brochure would have all the information we need. I would be so quick to discount the possibility. It's official Quincy Company material, and might be able to find some of the conflicts with what Minif said. In other words, to cover all of your bases. Oh great, let's stop by the McDowell estate too and see how they plan out. Thanks for the invaluable advice, Mr. Grimwood. Because of you, we finally have some leads to chase down. Always happy to be of service. Just to confirm, you said you were using the Hayward residence as a base of operations, yes? Here we are. Well then, I will lend you my help with this case for as long as time permits me. Though unfortunately, I can't make any promises, given my other responsibilities. It's not a problem at all, you've already helped us immensely. It's nice having a professional in the neighborhood we can lean on. I'll try to meet up with you at the Haywers later. Good luck with your investigation until then. Thanks, Mr. Grumwood. Okay, let's get this investigation on the way. To start, we need to get the IOC and look into Minif's plan regarding the American Honey Company. It'd be a good idea to swing by the McDowell estate for the brochure too. Something in there might contradict Minif's words. That gives us a total of theories to follow up on. But yeah, around this until we find the evidence. Wir haben doch schon mal... Ich glaube, die Barons... Also... Ich bin mir gerade nicht 100% sicher, ob das mit Ridner und dem Barleyfeld und sowas 1:1 das ist. Aber ich glaube... Er hat über die Story der Kapua-Familie geredet. Ich finde es nur komisch. Ja gut. Die sind aus der wurden ja geflüchtet, ohne dass sie wohl zum Teil wissen, wo sie sind. Aber die Kapuas sind nicht spurlos verschwunden. Dementsprechend ist das so der Satz, den er meinte, ist bin ich mir ein bisschen unsicher, ob das hinhaut. Aber es kann auch sein, dass seine Kontaktperson halt nicht weiß, wo die Kapuas sind. Und das zweite ist mit dem Weißenheim, wo wir Spenden für gesammelt hatten fürs Reparieren, wo eigentlich der Mayor Dalmor, dieser Bürgermeister Dalmor, da eigentlich einen Resort bauen wollte. Ich glaube, das ist auch ein bisschen damit connected. Ich glaube, das sollte auch irgendwie gescampt werden. Und Dalmor war auch nur eine Figur und Mittel zum Zweck. In dem Fall. Gehen wir erstmal zu den Haywers. Nicht den Haywers. Zu McDowell. Let's see, here it is. This is the Quincy Company brochure I mentioned earlier. Dang, they even had this sucker bound. Can't say they didn't put any effort into the thing. They found the resources to do so, considering the size of the company. What was written inside should be sufficiently credible. It's a good thing we stopped by for it. But let's take a closer look inside. As lead on confectionery manufacturing, Quincy Company's toys tirelessly towards its next innovation. This brochure aims to briefly introduce the methods and creeds that drive our passion. We believe the key aspect of any confectionery is its taste. However, how could anyone enjoy it? With this belief, as a core tenet, the Quincy Company refuses to compromise on the quality of its product. Our factories are fitted with the latest equipment, operated with the utmost attention to hygiene. Here at the Quincy Company, we are particular not just about the quality of the ingredients, but where they are sourced as well. Our product development pipeline 2 is one with the strictest of standards. Prototypes are personally assembled by our executives, who, after many meetings, decide whether a product is worthy to go to market. Only then can they reach the product line. This has been a Quincy company tradition since its founding, such that we may deliver our valuable customers nothing less than the finest confectioneries to enjoy. This is commitment to excellence that has made the Quincy company the exceptional confectioneer it is today. Truly we were expecting, this is all just your typical corporate double talk. I didn't manage to find contradiction between this and something manifested. Not in particular. Maybe coming from this brochure was a waste of time after all. Actually, I did notice something. You did? I get it. Just activated that all detective mode and bam, right? Well, don't leave us hanging. What did you find? If you remember what Minev taught us at the hotel yesterday, that is obvious. That's only a passing remark, but it still comes into major conflict with what's written in this brochure. Enough to prove that he isn't, in fact, an employee of the Quincy company to begin with. Got much out of this one little pamphlet. That's right, you see, if Minev... Sorry, cut you off, but where's the fun in spoiling it all now? Oh, what are you talking about? If I'm being honest, it's annoying that you're the only one who's figured it out. So why not give the rest of us a chance to save it for when we interrogate Minev? Actually, this is an investigation, not some game. I agree with Rashi, actually. Your hypothesis might not be accurate after all. As a precaution, we shouldn't let ourselves be swayed by a mere hunch. Not to mention, I don't appreciate you steering the spotlight with your detective mode, as Randy put it. Why do I get a feeling that second comment was the real reason she doesn't want me to share? Well, if you do insist, instead I want you all to consider everything we've learned so far. I'll summarize the main points of the brochure in the detective notebook. Also left is for us to visit the IBC and see what you can find out there. Lead the way! Good. Then IBC, da können wir uns hin teleportieren. Hello again, SSS, what can I do for you today? I would like to ask what IBC's cooperation with an investigation we are working on. Would it be possible for you to do an account search for us, Lanfei? We are going to look into some suspicious mirror transfers from a certain depositor. You want me to put up private information on one of our clients then? Doing so is within company policies if it's related to a criminal inquiry. But would you mind telling me the details of the situation first? No problem. I provided all the information they had on a suspected fraud case. I see, I believe I understand the circumstances now. Will this be sufficiently probable cause for us to conduct a search? Carrying out on these kinds of things is in the bank's interest too. What would damage your reputation? You are correct, and this is related to a legitimate investigation. I can help, but you will have to settle for me simply telling you what I can pull up on my terminal screen here. That's more than enough, if you please. Here we are. First I'm searching an account registered under the name Minev. American Honey Company, subsidiary of the Quincy Company. There we are. We do indeed have an account opened under that name. Hold on. What happened? Find something incriminating? Well, I don't have the authority to tell you the exact balance on the record, but I will say that the American Honey Company has no more than a minimum deposit on its account. What exactly does that mean? Basically, corporate accounts require an initial sum of capital to open. In this case, the base amount is all there is. From what you've told me, that would leave tens of thousands of mirror unaccounted for. With regards to the construction of the factory, management of the fields and motor cover, it's simply impossible for any minimum deposit to be capable of financing all of it. That much is clear. Despite him holding the titles to the land and signing several deals, the balance hasn't changed a single time. and suspicious, to say the very least. By which I mean, this account appears to have been made for the sole purpose of gaining Derek's trust. Please carry on adding up in here, in more ways than one. Yeah, it's just the kind of evidence we needed. We appreciate your cooperation, then, Faye. All in all, I'm glad I could be of assistance. Would you ever require anything more, please don't hesitate to ask. Keep that in mind. Okay, we now have the material on every suspicious aspect of Minif and his plan. Let's make our way back to the Hayworth residence. Got it! Residential district. Ah, it's the SSS. There you all are. Mr. Grunwald, I'm glad you could make it. Did you just get back yourself, Mr. Hayworth? Yes, I finished asking my business associates about the matter at hand. How do things go on your end? We were able to round up a few leads thanks to Mr. Grunwald. How about you, Mr. Hayworth? I did just the same, in a manner of speaking. You see, I'm not quite sure what to make of it all. You're in through the trouble of digging up the info, so you may as well share with the rest of the class. Agree, the information may be beneficial to our investigation. I suppose you're right. I asked my business associate if the name Minif rang up any bells, having never heard it myself. Well, what they informed me is that he's been making inquiries to a certain market since arriving in Crossbell. And what market would that be? Land prices in various locations throughout Crossbell. Land prices? But sounds more like a real estate agent at this point. Why do the company employee even need to get that kind of information? The answer to the trust might be instrumental in helping us figure out Minif's true objective here. You think so? This is something worth considering. Incidentally, I may have discovered something else of note since we last saw one another. Huh? Yeah, well, Chief told her. Could you help me find something in my office? At your office, Ian? I don't mind, but is it important? It isn't substantial enough to prove anything in and of itself, but we may be able to use it as a final nail in the coffin once we've pinned Minif down. Will you got something like that up your sleeve, Christian? Possibly, but we may not make it in time, so please don't wait for us. You ought to get to Amorica village as quickly as you can. If Minif is the criminal we think he is, then this plan could very well be in its final stages as we speak. I'm confident, however, that the evidence you have on hand will be enough for you to solve the case. As of luck as it says. Got it, thanks, Mr. Grimwood. Okay, guys, off to Amorica village. It's around time to reveal Minif's true colors and stop his phony deals. That in a track. Right. Okay. Und ja, wir haben mehr als genug Informationen, weil es ist klar, dass er recht offensichtlich, dass er die Felder kaufen will, um die halt dann wieder zu verkaufen, damit dann wahrscheinlich später Häuser oder so zurückgebaut werden kann. Oder Luxusresorts, weil die Area da draußen ist zumindest für den Tourist-Spot und Hotelspots. Ja, würde nicht gerne in ein Hotel gehen, in einem abgelegenen Ort, in der Mitte der Natur, um die frische Luft zu genießen. You get what I mean? Damn it. Did I already close the deal? Music again. Special support section. Derek, Minif, we have a few things we'd like to ask. What kind of agreements were you hoping to conduct today? I'm handling my affairs on my father's behalf again, are you? Please, Derek, there's no harm in answering the questions. After all, our plan has already been set into motion. And what do you mean by that? Before you arrived, Derek and I finished signing the requisite paperwork. In doing so, we have arranged to expand the operations of the lotus fields lent to me by the villagers. The Quincy Company will then take over the management of the fields. What? You signed away the rights of almost all of the villagers' agriculture. Is this really what you want, Derek? What are you talking about? Nothing's changing. I'm only transferring management of the fields to him. Yes, of course, it's quite simple, really. By company harvesting the honey, we'll be able to streamline production of the candy. The temporary transfer of the land rights to my company is a necessary first step to facilitate the process. What a crafty bastard. The scheme has reached its final phase, which means I and Derek will be delivering this contract to our main office. We'll be in touch come tomorrow, and we look forward to good news. That's great, are we waiting? Right. We can't let him get away. Before I go, we have a few more questions. Oh? Well, what might that be? For starters, are you aware of the allegations leveled against you? The primary of which, of course, is suspicion of fraud. What? That's absurd. How dare you insult Minif like that? No, no, Derek, please calm yourself. Minif? A special support action, was it? What could possibly make you suspect me of being a common criminal? Surely you have some manner of proof for your claim? What that we do? Intriguing. Why don't you tell me all about it then? But first, let me remind you that I'm an imperial citizen. I would announce that your allegations are indeed entirely baseless. I will do what I must to right the indignity. Police officers, though you might be. Oh, that's fine with us. Right. Alrighty, let me handle this. Based on our investigation, there's no doubt, no mind that Minif is guilty. I'm going to expose him as the fraud he is and show Derek the truth. How a weak lip. If that's how you want to play this, then go right ahead. I will say anything you like. Well, the first question. Right, how are the actions in Crossbell? There's a contradiction between what you've said and what you've done. Could you please recount your actions for me? A contradiction. Very well, since arriving in Crossbell, I've been cooperating with Derek to advance our plans. That plan will result in the formation of the American Honey Company, a subsidiary of the Kinsey Company. It will specialize in producing candy made from America's high-quality honey. Combined with my company's acumen, it's a surefire success. The venture has already been approved by the city and is just about prepared to launch. Tell me, what is so contradictory about it? Well, I think this plan is more like a charade from where I'm standing. Our investigation has uncovered a key discrepancy in what you just said. You see, Minif? The plan is underway. Ist eine komische Option, aber ist die richtige, believe me. The records we look into at the IBC who reveal your mistake. Because this plan is prepared to launch. In reality, it hasn't actually made any progress at all. The IBC? What are you talking about? Consider this. If the Kinsey Company truly intended to go through with this plan in Crossbell, they don't need a loan from the IBC to fund the construction and development of the subsidiary. Well, yes, of course. I purchased the company with the city and opened a corporate account. But that's as far as you went, isn't it? The account for the American Honey Company contained no more than the minimum balance required to open it. We weren't told the exact amount. I would speculate it's only in the tens of thousands of Mira. Just how we were planning to build a factory and run a business with the little starting capital. You looked into my IBC account? This can't be true, can it, Minif? Please don't misunderstand, Derek. I never said there was any credence to their claims. I'm merely commenting on the audacity it takes to do something so invasive. Forget it. Explain why there's hardly any mirror in that account. Being executive of the company, I must be especially judicious when moving money around. Such I can't take out a loan on behalf of the Kinsey Company. Of course, I will be securing one from the IBC once I've received permission from the main office. Ah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And activation. Don't count us out just yet. I can tell Minif is getting frustrated. If we continue to press him and pile the evidence, we can get him to crack. When your face tells me you have something more to ask. Oh, it just happens that I do. That was far from our only point of contention about your Minif. You're still not satisfied? Don't let him ready you, Derek. This will be a good opportunity for me to clear your mind of any and all doubt. Next, I would like to ask about you, Minef. You said you're an executive of the Quincy Company, but is it really true? Wait, what are you implying? I'm trying to say Minef isn't associated with the Quincy Company at all. That's what our evidence points to. Oh, goodness me. I didn't expect you to say something so outlandish. How about I show you my business card and employee ID? Those articles could easily be forged. Regardless, we have evidence that would supersede either of those. And we found it in the Quincy Company information brochure. An informational brochure? Oh yeah, the one in Mademoiselle's room. You recorded the main points in the detective notebook. The brochure comes directly from the Quincy Company's main office, so there's no doubt as to its authenticity. What's more, there's a discrepancy between its content and what you told us yesterday. What I told you? That's right, something you mentioned made it clear to us that you aren't the executive you claim to be. Creator subsidiary? Nope. Is history in sales? Nope. Is this like for sweets or off sweets? Allow me to quote a statement you made yesterday. Despite working for the company, it had never been one for sweets. Do you deny this fact? Ich find's schön, wie alle außer Lloyd verwirrt sind. Lloyd? How exactly is that relevant? That's right, I don't care for sweets. What of it? I'm trying to say that someone who dislikes sweets can possibly work for a confectionery company. A confectionery company in general, maybe, but not this one in particular. What are you on about? What do you work for? Confectionery police department? This is what was written in the brochure. Prototypes are personally sampled by our executives, who, after many meetings, decide whether a product is worthy to go to market. Isn't that curious? What was that? Wait. It doesn't make sense that somebody like Minef, who dislikes sweets, would be hired by a company like Quincy. Not with a tradition like that. Wouldn't you agree? It's, I mean, I've never said I hated sweets. That's not going to work on us. It admits to not liking them in this very conversation. How stupid do you think we are? But it raises the question, why would you lie about being executive of the Quincy Company? It's simple. You tend to gain Derek's trust before ripping him off. This is the only deduction I can make based on the evidence. As for the confectioner seeking to make use of the American honey, Quincy Company was merely a name with weight to it, one that Minef threw around as a show of credibility. Minef, what is the meaning of this? You tricked me? Derek, don't allow yourself to be deceived by those converts. What, you just call us? I mean, think about it for a second. Let's say, for argument's sake, that I did come to America for the purpose of funding a fraudulent honey company. If that being the case, I had no real motive in deceiving my very good new friend Derek. Then what was it? Why would I go to such ridiculous lengths? If you have no proof to back your claims, then you have no right to call me a fraud. You should arrest yourselves for slander. You do bear the burden of proof, as well as providing a viable motive. As far as the motive goes, I think I have a pretty good idea. What? Are you sure, Lloyd? I've barely even started untangling everything that's going on here. Don't worry, I've got this. The person who pointed us in the right direction today also went to retrieve the final piece of evidence we need. The last piece of the puzzle that we're asked Minef once and for all. Could have been mumbling. If you have something to say, then out with it. With pleasure, we went to all these lengths to deceive this village with one goal in mind. Seizing the land rights. The true objective here is obtaining the land rights to America Village itself. What? The trader we know by Tarot Hayworth gave us information about you. Immediately after arriving in Crossbell, Minef started looking into the land prices throughout the state. If you were employed by the Quincy Company in search of new business ventures, this would make no sense. So I do it. I can't only think of one possibility. Zealand was her aim from the very start. It was? Of all the outrageous schemes. There's more to it. The Moral Carriage is surrounded by a scenic beauty, making the highway your location. Suppose the deeds were sold to a third party as prime real estate for a villa resort. How much more do you think they would go for? And like this, I would estimate somewhere in the tens of millions of mirror. That said, I don't think the villagers would ever agree to such an arrangement. Exactly. That's what made this whole fraudulent ruse, painstaking as it was, a necessity. Now, if you assume your motive was to obtain the land itself, your actions become that much more clear. First, you obtain the rights to the lotus fields, the farmland, and the village's private property. Then, under the pretext of returning to your company's main office, you vanish from Crossbell entirely. Finally, sell the deals on the black market and pocket the hefty sum of mirror they are worth. That, Minif, has been your plan the entire time. Minif, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Lord! Is that? Thank goodness, it looks like we made it in time. Derek. Father, Mr. Hayworth. Are you from Mr. Krummer's office? I'm his assistant, Pete. He would have come himself, but he had to go back to drafting the Constitution. Did you come with evidence? That we did, and that is what proved to be useful insurance. You're all going to want to take a look at this. Pete produced a photograph for everyone to see. There was a man who looked like the merchant with the same face as Minif's. Many of the pictures. Why do you have this? A reporter Mr. Grimwood knew in the Empire gave this to him a long time ago. The name on this photo isn't Minif, it's Ridner. Ridner, I feel like we've heard that name recently. I didn't remember. It's the name of the man who stole that Erebonian Baron's land, the one Mr. Grimwood told us about. Oh yeah, that dude. That's right, ask Ian about it again, he said there's no mistaking it. This is a plot twist I wasn't expecting. Right, why don't you do Minif the honors? Tell me the only thing this photo could mean. With pleasure. The reason the man before us Minif, and the man in the photo Ridner look identical is... They're twins. This is stupid. Minif is Ridner in disguise. Is all stupid. They're the same person. If they are one and the same, it's the only explanation. It's because they're the same person that their MOs are such a close match. Mr. Conrad came to the same conclusion. This man must have dwindling down to an exact orbal science. Real crook, Minif. As such, you'll be charged with attempted fraud. This is, of course, on top of the fraud you previously committed in Erebonia. I can only guess how many skeletons we will find in the closet when we get down with you. I would very much like to hear all of the details in the department's interrogation room. Damn you. We're a professional. My work must be flawless. You meddlesome brats. Minif? Don't get full of yourself just yet. I found this the time that I want to be apprehended so easily. What? Come, my lovely beasts. Warhounds. What? Monsters? They appear to be well trained too. Just cougars, don't freaking tell me. Once trained by the Red Constellation. Now. Derek. You've told her. It's too dangerous. Do you have any idea what you're doing? I don't know precisely what I'm doing, and so I'm doing it. Oh, and don't think for even a second about trying to fight me. That is, unless I don't value the lives of Derek and the villagers. Now step aside if you would. Pretty well. But we shall never meet again. Derek. Damn it, we can't just let him escape. After him. No! He managed to get away. I've never been so frustrated. I can't believe a spineless coward like him gave us a slip. Wir können in euer Auto springen und ihn hinterherfahren. Es sollte schneller sein als ein Truck. At least none of the villagers were hurt. Let's look at the silver lining. What a mess. If you come across him again, you won't be so lucky. But now let's regroup with Chief Todd and the villagers so we can report what's happened. Yeah, that's a good idea. Can't thank you all enough for what you've done today. That's no exaggeration to say that you've saved the village from the clutches of the con man. Do we still get away in the end? Yeah, but now the department knows to keep a lookout for him. It should only be a matter of time before he's caught. Derek? I made a grave mistake and I put everyone through so much trouble just so they could fix it. But that man robbed me into a scheme and it nearly cost us all our livelihoods. Don't be so hard on yourself, you're not the one who's guilty. Wrong, it's my fault completely. No two ways about it. I was so desperate to fix and reform America and I ignored my father and almost drove it into the ground instead. I have no right to become the next village chief. This is where you're wrong. Father? I've been so stuck on the old ways that I've never tried to hear her proposals for what they are, or what they were. I've known the village will go under if we maintained our current course, and yet I've done nothing. It is my inaction that drove you to do this, thus I must bear a large share of the responsibility for letting it happen. It's very admirable, Chief told her. Thanks to this crisis, I finally realized where I went wrong. The welfare of this village cannot hinge entirely on the ideology of a single stubborn old man. So instead, Derek, I would ask that you provide me your input as well. We will each contribute to our ideas and discuss them with the villagers. That's the only way we can ensure a future for America. Alright, I'm so sorry, Father. From here on out, I'm going to dedicate myself to the betterment of the village. I'm happy the two of you were able to reconcile. Same. Makes almost losing your whole village to some crook worth it, wouldn't you say? Come on, Margie. Put a sock in it, Margie. Learn how to read the room. I'm really sorry about him. I swear, we have tried everything. At any rate, you're on an almost stepped, so allow me to express my thanks once more. Also, my gratitude to Mr. Grimwood. It's a shame he couldn't be here. I pass the thanks on to Mr. Grimwood and let him know what happened. Even if I only played a minor role, I'm glad I could be of assistance. I look forward to your continued partnership, Chief Torter. Oh, same to you, Harold. If you could, keep a lookout for Minev, just in case he returns. And of course, you can always contact the SSS if you ever need our assistance. Hopefully, it will never be for anything related to this ordeal again. Be sure to keep you in mind. It's Search and Leisure. Achso. Played for over 100 hours. Sehr schön. Ja, Search and Leisure. Und sogar live. Fasst es gut zusammen. Das ist ein chill Game, dementsprechend Leisure trifft es gut.